Hello everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. We talk boards. Today I'm coming to you from the very windy south coast of New South Wales. It is lovely and chilly. The last 2 days have been really hot. I'm on a small trip away, a couple of days, and I'm staying in, it's called the Old Schoolhouse, Milton, but it's technically in it's just outside the south coast. If you know the south coast, you'll vaguely know the area I'm talking about. It is quite windy out. It is chilly out today. I do not have my flanny, but that's okay because it's needed. I am sitting outside the balcony. I'm staying in the loft part of the of this Airbnb, and I have stayed here before. I really like coming out here because it's usually very peaceful. I don't know if you can hear the birds. That is a little flock of galahs. We are sitting out and we are IDing birds is what we're doing, but these galahs have been hanging around because this place has chickens, so the owner comes out and feeds the chickens, and then the galahs swoop in and start eating chicken food as well. So yeah, I'm having a lovely time. This is my second full day. I arrived 2 days ago. So yeah, I'm having a very nice time. But I thought I would vlog a little bit today and just check in with everyone. So I'm going to potentially not do very much reading, you see, but yesterday I did read a little bit of my current audiobook, which is Mother Mary Comes to Me by Arundhati, which is a memoir focused around her mother. We're kind of dipping in and out of her, talking about her mother, mostly talking about the author. So the audiobook is narrated by her, so I'm appreciating that. I think it's narrated, which can be a bit hit or miss when anyone does it themselves. But I think in this case it's working. Do I look old? It's crazy because yesterday was got up to 30 degrees Celsius, obviously. I'm not talking about Fahrenheit. 30 degrees. And today, actually, I have not checked. Let's look at the weather app to see what the current temperature is. I've currently got my bird app open. Let's switch over to the weather app. Okay, it's not actually that cold, except that it's windy, so the wind is making it feel colder. So it's 18.6 degrees currently, but it says feels like 15.5. Agree. Let's see, the max today is 22 degrees, so it should be a lovely mild day. So hopefully I won't need outer layer for too much. So that's all I've done with reading so far on this trip. But I want to get more reading done, and I've brought a couple of different things with me. So pause, and I will go and grab the books that I brought with me. Okay, so if you've been around, you'll know that I'm attempting to read the books that were longlisted for the Stella Prize this year. The shortlist has just been announced like a couple of days ago at the time of recording. Literally the day before I came away. And so based on that, I'm prioritising some of the books from that list. So I'll tell you what I'm currently reading. Now this one didn't make it to the shortlist, but I was already in the middle of reading Wild Dark Shore by McConaghy. It took me a little minute to get into it, to be honest. I didn't get drawn in straight away, even though it felt too obvious to me, like the drawing in bit of it. Oh, I've just spotted a different bird. I think that's some kind of, maybe a rosella? I do have my glasses on, but I probably need to go and get my binoculars at some point anyway. It's in a tree at the moment, it's a bit hard to see. So if it comes out, I'll be able to ID it a bit more. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted by birds. I was already midway through. It was starting to, like, the beginning of the book, it felt a little bit too, like, obviously trying to pull me in kind of thing, and I don't appreciate that. Other people probably do. Anyway, now that I'm about halfway through, maybe not quite halfway through, I am a little bit more drawn in, because I think I know what's going on, and then something else happens, and they tell you more information. You're like, oh, okay, well, it's not that then. Trying to work out what the big secrets are, you know. But yeah, I am drawn in now, but I took a pause on it. I need to get back into it, so I'm hoping to read some of that today. Then I which is called 58 Facets on Law, Violence and Revolution by Marika Sosnowski. This is a non-fiction book, and it is centered around facets, as in of a diamond kind of thing, because this is about, ostensibly it's about the author's grandfather, I believe, who was a jeweller, and he arrived in Melbourne in 1947, having passed through a checkpoint minutes ahead of Nazi occupiers via a Japanese internment camp in Java and a migrant accommodation camp just outside of Brisbane. So it's kind of like, I believe, 58 stories about that sort of like intellectual. So that one should be really good. I've heard really good things about it. So those are the two that I've brought down that are from the Stella long list and short list. I also brought down Thunderhead by Miranda. This is not the book that's on the Stella, but it's the book that I own of this author, so that it's kind of like the second book in the series. Although when I was watching this short list, they were saying, at the announcement, they were saying you didn't need to have read this one, but I don't know. I want to read it. It's very short. I feel like I can get through it really quickly. So that's the other book that I brought down to try and read, because that one did make the shortlist. Its subsequent book made the shortlist. So those are the books that I brought with me to read. But I also brought my e-reader, and on my e-reader is another book from the shortlist, which is I Am Nannertgarrook by Tasma Walton, which I am very much looking forward to. I think it's a strong contender. To be the winner, but I've heard it's also incredibly heartbreaking. So yeah, this is probably a good place to read it when I'm quite like relaxed and chill, so that I'm not like, it's not contending with the stresses of my life, you know what I mean? So reading it on a holiday is probably a good idea. I do have a physical copy of it, but I was trying to like condense things a little bit, because when I go on holidays, I like to go secondhand book shopping, which I have already done already. So I stopped in at one of the op shops on the way, which is Vinnie's at Nowra. Just have a quick look, because they price all of their books at $3 each. So every single one of these books cost me $3, and I bought 4, so that's $12. That's not very much for 4 books, you know. Especially when like a brand new book, one book would be much more than that. Anyway, I bought one book which is a middle grade maybe. I've read another book from this author called The Little Wave, but the book is called Are You There, Buddha by Pip Harry, and I think it is like to be a middle grade, because The Little Wave was a middle grade, and the main character is 12, so probably right. So this one says, Bridget B. Ballantyne is 12 and studying her first year of high school in the beach suburb of Crescent Bay. Still reeling from the departure of her mother for an ashram in India, B talks to Buddha and begs for her first period not to arrive. She's not ready to become a woman yet, whatever that means. Although B's yet to find her tribe at school, her best friend forever is Surfer Leon McKay, also known as the hottest boy in year 8. As long as, oh man, remember being in high school? You couldn't pay me to go back. Anyway, as long as Leon has her back, Bea can survive the mean girls, her meddling stepmom, Kath, and her swimming nemesis, the piranha. Over one blistering summer set against the backdrop of bushfires, smoke haze, and water restrictions, Bea will grow up, show up, and make a name for herself. I loved The Little Wave by this author. I gave it 5 stars. This is an Australian author, so I have high hopes for this one. I didn't know it was around, even though it was shortlisted for New South Wales Premier's Literary Awards in 2022. I did not register that one when it came out. So anyway, got that now. Obviously not the right time of year for me to read this because we are heading into winter. It is now autumn here in Australia. Cold weather setting in. That's a summer book. I also found a copy of Kairos by Jenny Erpenbeck, which won the International Book Prize in 2024. I was curious about this one at the time when it came out. Potentially having never been read. Oh, the person bought it from a bookshop in Tasmania. Fuller's Bookshop, Hobart, Tasmania. There you go. And it made its way to Nowra. To my library. So this is a translated book, and it is translated by Michael Hoffman. And the back says, Berlin, 11th of July 1986, they meet Bridget. She is a youngster, he is older and married. Theirs is an intense and sudden attraction fueled by a shared passion for music and art and heightened by the secrets of when she graduates with a colleague, the relationship takes a darker turn just as the GDR begins to crumble, ushering in a new era whose great gains also involve profound loss. So that's that one. That is currently on the long list for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction. I don't think this one made it to the shortlist, but I recognised it as being on this year's. Yeah. Anyway, this book is called Daughters of the Bamboo Grove, From China to America, a true story of abduction, adoption and separated twins by Barbara Demick. I've heard really good things about this one, but this is basically a woman in China gives birth to twins secretly, because this is we're in the period of the one-child policy in China, and then they leave one twin in the care of relatives, hoping to avoid official scrutiny, and then 2 years later, that child is violently snatched away, and she ends up being taken to Texas under the guise of, that this is an orphaned child, so not the people who adopted this child. So yeah, anyway, it's really good things about it. So $3, very, very happy to find that. And then this one's this is a chonker. And if you've been around, you know I don't read a heck of a lot of chonkers, but this one sounded really interesting. This is called The Life and Myth of Charmian Clift by Nadia Wheatley. I've never read anything by Charmian Clift, but she's been in my life. I purchased a couple of her books secondhand. She initially wrote a couple of memoirs about living in Greece, I believe, or Cyprus. Anyway, overseas somewhere on like a very laid back beachy place, and she moved there with her husband and small children, and then came back to Australia, did a lot of writing for newspapers, the Sydney Morning Herald. I think she had a column there. Yeah, I've heard a lot about her, and people praising her writing, and so I picked up those books with the intention of reading them. I just haven't got around to them yet, but I found this biography of her. She also ended up, I think it might have been in the 60s or the 70s maybe, Yeah, she committed suicide. And I believe her marriage wasn't... So she was married to a guy who was a writer, and I don't think the marriage was as happy as it kind of appeared from the outside, kind of thing. Yeah, anyway, it just sort of says that this book will deftly untangle fact from fiction and give a portrait of an immensely talented woman and of the unique literary partnership she shared with George Johnson, who was her husband. They wrote a book together. And I think he got more credit than she did. Anyway, I'm interested to learn more about this woman. So yeah, and Nadia Wheatley is a good writer, so I'm excited to have this one. Yeah, for $3. So that's the haul so far. Potentially there'll be more of a haul today, because my plan is to go into Milton. So it only takes about 5 minutes to Milton here. So I'm literally just outside of Milton. Anyway, it's probably about 8:30. Yes, 8:23. So my thought was, when we get a bit closer to 9 o'clock, potentially I will head across. I don't know what time the shops will open. Will they open at 9 or will they open at 10? If I go too early, I guess I could just go to a cafe and have take a book and read at the cafe. I could do that. Options. But it's school holidays, so potentially I would say Milton is kind of a gentrified country town. And it's quite a bird earlier that looked a bit like an ibis, an Australian ibis, but I don't think it is an Australian ibis because it's got too much black on its wings. Because normally the black is a bit more confined on an ibis, and they look a bit more white underneath when they fly. But this one, it's sort of like the shape of an ibis, but it's got more black on it. So I need to go back to the app and see if I can find out. That's the one I've currently got open. Because my thought is, so this is I don't know if you can see that. That's what an ibis looks like, and when they fly, they look a bit more like that. But this one, it has more black wings, so I don't think it is an ibis. I don't think it's an Australasian darter. Definitely not that one. Could it be? No, it's kind of a long guy. I think it might be a pied cormorant. I wish it would show. That's what it looks like with its wings outstretched. Great cormorant's too black. I think that might be it. I think I'm going to call it, and I'm going to say that it's a pied cormorant. This is my bird. Confirm. Save. Okay. We're calling it pied cormorant, is what I was seeing flying around. And we're kind of in where we are at the moment. Hang on. Let me turn you around and show you. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to be a bit shaky. This is the yard. The chickens are down there under that tree. That's their little lovely enclosure. But you can see it's kind of like farmland. That's a small cemetery right there. If we were to look over this way, there's like mountains, but there's more farmland over there. So yeah, it's really quite beautiful, but we are relatively close to the water, so potentially it might be correct. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get myself, go and brush my teeth. I'm going to get myself ready to go. I'm dressed already. Just need to brush my teeth. Work out which book I'm going to take with me. Probably Wild Dark Shore, to be honest. Although that kind of feels more like a book that I would read at night time. Maybe I'll take Thunderhead to read in a coffee shop if I need to, because the shops aren't yet open. I'm not going to spend all day distracted by birds. I'm not going to spend all day out today. I just want to do maybe 2 hours. But there is a little bookshop in Milton, so if I'm able, I'll get a little bit of footage in there. I feel a bit weird about publicly vlogging. We'll see. We'll see what I feel comfortable with. I'm just going to take my phone though, so we'll see. But yeah, I will probably pop into that bookshop, and potentially they now have more of a new book section as well. It used to just exclusively be secondhand books, but they also have new books now, which are a little bit integrated, which I don't really like. I don't love the direction that they've gone in. But if they have the sequel to this book, I might purchase it there, the one that's shortlisted for stuff, potentially. We'll see. And then I will come back here and we'll do some more reading. I'm also going to show you, I have a puzzle that I've been working on. Let me show you that before we pack up and go. So this is the puzzle I'm working on, and this is where I got up to yesterday. I started it yesterday morning and was listening to my audiobook while I worked on it. This was really hard to get the edges because, as you can see, it's all just this like backgroundy, splodgy pastel colour situation. So other than these like bits with the zodiac signs, it was really hard. But my brain wanted to do that bit first because edge first. You know how it is. So anyway, we're continuing to work on this kind of like middle edge, and then I'm going to work on the wedges. So I'll start dividing by wedge. But yeah, that's the puzzle that we're working on. All right, I'm going to go get myself organised. Okay, I am back from Milton. I didn't end up getting any footage in the bookshop because there was some kind of a local author book signing event going on, so there were a lot more people than before. You can see I have stripped off a little bit. It got warm, well, not crazy warm, but I was out in the sun, so it was quite warm in the sun. The breeze is still quite cool though. I didn't end up buying too much in Milton other than groceries that I had planned to get, but I didn't buy anything in the bookshop. I did, however, stop and have a scone with jam and cream and a chai latte. That was pretty nice. And then I looked around in quite a few of the shops. I tried on a dress. It didn't look nice on, so I didn't get it. But there was in the grounds of the local church there was a big, the knitting club of the area was selling stuff. They had some really beautiful knitted little blankets. I didn't end up getting a blanket, but I did get a beanie, which I did not try on, and there wouldn't have been any other check. But anyway, I liked the one with the pom-pom because I thought that was cute. Do you also do this? I have my hair up in a bun, so perhaps that's not looking as good as it could. But yes, very excited about my little pom-pom hat. I think it's cute. And if the mornings are super cold here, I will have a nice warm hat to wear. And I also bought some knitted socks, which I'm kind of treating more like slippers, but they should be nice and cozy for getting around in the cold mornings. And then, I don't know about you guys, but I really love these things where they crochet this top and then crochet it to, or stitch it to a towel, which I thought this little chicken one was quite cute. And then it's got the little loop so you can hang it to dry your hands and things in the kitchen. So I got those things at the little market, cash only. Luckily I had a 50 in my wallet, so I was able to get a couple of things. But yeah, I'm back now. I'm just going to chill for a bit, but then I think I will do some reading. Oh, by the way, as I was driving back to the house, I saw that bird again that I was like, it can't possibly be an ibis. It's an ibis. I was incorrect. It's just quite black on its wings, which is unusual for the ibises that I have seen in the past. Mostly they have like a more, it's just black on the kind of ends of their feathers and more white, whereas this was like black with a little bit of white at the top. Anyway, I'm going to look it up in my bird book and see if there's like a variation of the type of ibis, if there's more than one kind, but it had that like very typical ibis-y hooked beak situation. So anyway, I was incorrect about my bird identification. But yes, anyway, I'm going to chill for a bit. I will check back in with you a little bit later. It is the afternoon now. What time is it? 3:45. I thought I'd just check in and let you know how I've been going. We're back on. I looked up that bird. It turns out there is a different type of ibis, the name of which escapes me. Hold that thought. It is called the straw-necked ibis. The type that's more common is called the Australian ibis, I think. But the one that I saw has more black on it, so I was correct that it wasn't a regular ibis. Okay, let me take a reading. So I read a little bit more of my audiobook, The Mary Comes to Me. This one, I started off at 54%. That's where I was up to from yesterday, and I'm now up to 61% on the audiobook. So I listened to that while I was having my lunch, and I've taken the slipcase off now, but I've been reading Thunderhead by Miranda. I started at page 0, and I'm now up to page 68 of this one. I don't know the number to it, but we'll see by the end. The character in here is called Winona Dalloway, and it is a definite, deliberate reference to Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf is mentioned. And this is a woman going about her day just like in Mrs. Dalloway. However, she's not coping, and I can gather her husband is controlling at the very least, possibly like coercive control, possibly abusive, but we haven't heard the full thing of that. Like little bits of it are being revealed, much like in Mrs. Dalloway. So I don't know the full picture yet. So just continue with that one, and yeah, we'll see how we land, because I really did like Mrs. Dalloway, but I don't think the writing is as strong in this book as the writing in Mrs. Dalloway. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Things are sort of starting to come together. And I guess it is kind of like a more modern, you know, with the modern, like there's still a dinner party being thrown at the end of the day. It's still happening over the course of the day, but she's going to like medical appointments and having to pick the kids up from school, all those kind of things. Struggling to like place herself in her own life. So yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, we'll see. And I know that this character reoccurs in the later book that is shortlisted for the Stella Prize. So I think it is relevant to read the first one first and get the feel for the character and what's gone on for her. So anyway, we'll continue on with that. I will probably check back in again a bit later today. You can see the sun is starting to go down now. It's over there, so I'm getting a little bit of sunshine, which is lovely. The wind is still quite cool. I've put my new socks on. They're doing a good job. Yeah, that's the update for now. I had a little rest, had a little lie down earlier today as well. So I think I'm doing the right thing. Looks like these cows have just been let into this paddock and they're having a lovely time. Hello friends. It is now quite late at night. This day has gotten away from me. I have not done any further reading. I instead of listening to my audiobook while I puzzled, I was catching up on a couple of YouTube channels that I follow, including, and probably the bit I spent the most time on was watching Good Hang with Amy Poehler. I watched the Brandy Carlisle episode and also the Fred Armisen. Love that show. Great. But yeah, let me show you where I'm up to with my puzzle, because I have made some real progress. Alright, so other than that piece, I have now, because I can't find it, but I'm sure it will turn up, I have completed the outer ring and I've started on 2 of the wedges. So I've basically almost done this wedge here, although this connecting bit I can't yet work out. This is what it looks like. It's the connecting with the hair into the red bit. I'll get there. We'll get there. And then I got bored of that, so I started on this next wedge and then started to put a little bit of this wedge together as well. And I've sorted a few pieces into some trays, so we're making progress. Oh, and here are my new socks, which are super fun. So I'm going to leave the vlog there for today. We've made progress on 2 books, which is great, including getting a really good portion of the way through one that I started today, and then also just making a bit of progress on my audiobook, which is good. I'm pleased with that. More reading to come. So today's Saturday. Tomorrow, Sunday, I probably will be hanging about at the house, so I'm intending to do a little bit more reading. And then my husband is going to come and join me for the last leg of this little trip. So he's going to come down on the train. I'll go pick him up. We'll do some stuff, come back, hang out with the chickens. It'll be great. So I'm going to leave the vlog here. Thank you very much for joining me today. I know it's sort of been a little bit sporadic, but yeah, I've had a nice day. I'm feeling more relaxed the more time I spend here, so it has been net positive. I hope you're having a really lovely day, and I will catch you on the next video.